and they are absolutely loving it.
Hi everybody, welcome back to The Young Grower. So in this video, we're going to be building a fox and rat proof chicken run. I've teamed up with Garden Life to bring you this video. We're going to be building the same chicken run that we already have, and I'm going to take you through the steps of how I built it. It's completely fox proof, it's completely rat proof. We've had it up for 3 years now and we've had no incidents. And the one thing I'm asked the most is, how did I build this run? How is it done? How is it fox proof? So I'm going to take you through every step to how I created this. We're going to replicate this, but the new one is going to be 2 meters by 4 meters. And we've already done lots of preparation for this. So now we're ready to get the frame up. We moved the tile wall back that way and we've completely leveled it just to give us as much room as we possibly can and to have a walkway down the side of this run, just like we have with that run. So we've got all the stuff here. This is going to take us over a couple of days to build, so I'm going to bring you along with us, show you every step. So on our chicken run, we go with the 1/2 inch welded wire. It's best to go with this stuff because it's fox proof. When you go with the cheap chicken wire, foxes can chew through it and it's not worth it. If you spend that extra little money at first, it gives your poultry the best start and they're not going to get killed by any foxes, and rats are not going to get through this because they will chew through the other chicken wire as well. And most of them, they can fit through the hose because they're just so big. So I'm not going to bore you too much talking about all this stuff now. This chicken run we're building today has a wooden door compared to my other one that has a metal door. And then we have the frame, the bits, and there's also a cover. But I'm not going to talk to you too much about this stuff now. As we go through it, I'll show you what there is. So the first step is going to be to unbox all this. So we've unboxed the pose and now I've just found the box with the instructions. And so it's a 2 meter by 4 meter chicken run and it's 1/2 inch welded mesh, and it comes with complete instructions, what is brilliant. Good thing it actually comes with the cable ties as well, because my last one didn't come with any cable ties. We didn't get it from this company. It is identical, but it's great to see that they've actually thought it through. And there's also pegs for this one to secure it in the ground. So to start off with, we're going to get all the bits lined up and just in a position that we know where everything's got to go. It's going to make it a lot easier to do the build. So that is the area where the chicken run is going to be. It's like a little puzzle working out where everything goes, but it's always easier to do it this way. At least that way we know we're not building it wrong and using the wrong parts. So I think we've got it all worked out. It took a little while. We had to get a tape measure out and measure some bits, but lucky enough the instructions are very detailed, so it was quite easy to work it out eventually. So now we need to connect it all together with the joints and the bolts. Now we've got to repeat this to all of the joints, and as you can see, it's very easy to screw in with these. Don't require any other tools. So that's all the base posts down. I was really happy with how easy it was to do these. We might have to tighten them a little bit later on because, yeah, I'm not that strong. So now we're going to put on the side posts. Now we've bolted in the side post, we're going to build the roof so we can lift that on in one. It's going to be a bit easier than having to stretch up to try and build it in the air. And one goes on each post. So now the roof is assembled, we need to lift it onto the side posts. So that is the chicken run frame all assembled, and I've gone around and tightened up all the bolts just so they're extra strong and they're not going to slip out once we build the roof on it. So now we need to put it into the position we're going to have it. We're going to dig a trench and bury the wire mesh at least 15 centimeters down and 15 centimeters across, and then we're going to backfill that with rubble, and this is going to prevent any foxes or rats from digging down and digging into it. We've done the exact same to this one, and 3 years it's been up and we've had no problems whatsoever. I've noticed a few rats trying to dig, but when they hit the rocks they end up stopping, what is brilliant. And we've got lots of rubble there and lots of rubble behind the polytunnel to use. And once it's into position, we're going to use these to anchor it down. So now I've got it in the position I want it. I've leveled it up with this run. We're putting the pegs in to secure it down before we dig the trench around. I put the outside one in at an angle, and that would just hopefully secure it a little bit better than if it was straight down. So now the pegs are in, we're going to start doing the trench, and I'm going to go at least 15 centimeters down and 15 centimeters across. I think we're going to do a little bit more. We're going to see how it goes. It's pretty much rock under here, so I don't know how far we're going to dig, but at least that's going to be a good thing, because the foxes aren't going to be able to dig through it if we can't dig through it. So we've dug the trench for this side. We've gone around 20 centimeters deep, maybe a bit more, but at least go 15 centimeters deep and 15 centimeters across. So I've given it a little bit extra just because we can. Now we're going to do the exact same as that all the way around. So that's the majority of the trench done. Still doing this side. So we have dug most of the trench and we're going to finish off doing it tomorrow, but we've gone all the way around. We just need to go a little bit deeper on this side, just where the rubble, and I think there used to be a wall here, what looks like it. This whole plot used to have a house on it. So that's why it's not the best of grounds, and that's why it is turned into the chicken plot. But hopefully tomorrow we'll get the trench fully dug and we'll get the wire mesh on. So it's time to finish up the day, so we'll see each other tomorrow. So it's the next day and we've come down to get the wire mesh put on the chicken run. First we need to finish off digging the trench, what we've pretty much done. And then we've got to build a door that is going on this end. So it's recommended to lay the doors out before we build them. They've all got pre-drilled holes as well, what is brilliant. And the instructions are very detailed. That is the door and the frame lined out. This is the outer frame and that is the door. Now we just need to screw them together. So that is the door built, and now we need to get it attached to the run. But first, this frame needs to go on with those brackets. So we've attached the first part of the frame, we've just screwed it into the front. And now we're going to screw the back and make sure it's in line. Now that's the top attached and we've made sure it's level. Now we just got to do the same to the bottom. But it's very simple, these brackets just go under. Just like that, and then you screw it in place. So the outer door part has been attached to the metal frame. Now we need to add these hinges to this door. So that's the door all attached. It took us a little bit longer to do it than we thought. We did do it a little bit wrong, so there is a little bit of a gap at the top, but it's fine, we can cover that in and it's not a problem. Got the lock on, and there's a metal bar up here to stop the door going inwards. But it does the job nicely and it is nice and flush. So we have about an hour and a half left, so we're going to try and get some of this mesh on. The instructions say we need to cut a 5.8 meter piece off of these, and then we need to mark out the middle point, pass that piece over, and then secure it to the roof and pull it down to the sides. That's supposedly what you got to do. May not go to plan, not if it does go to plan. So we're going to start cutting the wire and see if we can get this on as quickly as possible. So we're moving on to cutting the mesh wire, and to anchor it down so it don't ping back up because it's very strong, we put some breeze blocks on it, and we're going to roll it out and cut 5.8 meters. So we're using the snips to cut the wire mesh. So that is the first lot of mesh cut, and now we need to pass it over the top point and line it up. I've put some cable ties at the middle point, so when we unravel it we know to line those cable ties up to the top. So we're going to unroll it and pass it over. So now we've put the wire over, we're just cable tying it in the middle, and then we're going to pull it tighter on the sides. We're going to line it up perfectly with that end and line this end up here as well, and then another bit of mesh is going to go on the end and at the front. Now we're moving on to do the next lot of wire mesh, and we're going to do exactly the same as we just done. So this is the wire mesh that we're using. It is gauge 19 grams, 13mm hose, and that's 1/2 inch, and it's hot dripped galvanized, just like our run we have here. So that is the next piece cut, and now we have to do exactly the same as we did with that one. Pass it over. So now this one is on, we've lined it up with the middle point, and then we've connected it over here. We've done 3 squares and then overlaid it, and we've just temporarily secured it. But now we've got the task of connecting it properly at the top. Now get it tight hopefully on both sides. So much easier with having this longer mesh compared to the 90 centimeters. This is 2 meters width, and yeah, it makes it so much easier. Go over one section and not do loads of little bits like we had to on that run. So now we're just going along the edges and cable tying them together. So we managed to get quite a bit done today. We didn't get it completely finished, but that's not a problem. We got the hardest part done, and that was getting this on. We still got to cable tie it properly around there and sort out this bit here, but it's looking really good. I'm really happy with it. We're going to do the trench once the sides are done. We're going to use the smaller stuff I already have, but it looks absolutely beautiful. So on my other chicken run, when we joined the mesh together, we used some steel wire, and I still have some of it. So I think after we have cable tied it, I'm going to go around and thread it through just to strengthen each joint and make sure it's completely sealed. But when we get to that stage, we'll show you it. But I'm really happy that they sent it in 2 meters, because it makes it so much easier. Less work, less cutting, less joining. But we'll catch up soon when we get some more done. Hopefully tomorrow. We'll see what the weather's like, and we'll see what the time is after I've done all the other stuff. That is it for today. We will hopefully get more of this finished soon, so we'll catch up then. Hi everybody, so it's been a few days since we last done any of the chicken run. I was planning to come down the next day, but it rained, and it rained for a few more days. But thankfully today, the rain hasn't arrived. It was forecast to rain all day. So the plan today is to get the mesh on the front and on the back. We haven't fully secured the mesh to the run. I want to get the ends on and then go around and full on cable tie it. We have 2 bits of the wire mesh left. They are 10-meter bits. What we cut 5.8 meters off, and that leaves 4.8 meters. But we're not going to cut this up or anything. We're going to put this on and then bend over the excess onto the roof and the sides and cable tie it just to give it that extra strength. So what I think I'm going to do is attach it to this side of the run with some cable ties, and then undo it and attach it to this side, and then yeah, we'll make sure it's lined up and see how that goes. But it should be the exact height from the drop to the top of that. Fingers crossed. So we've attached it here. Now we just need to unravel it. So it's doing it a lot better than what I thought. So I was a little mistaken on the instructions. It says this here just needs to come to the door there. Because we're going to be burying wire mesh anyway, I'm just going to leave it like this because there's enough space there for us to attach the wire mesh down. At least that way, it's a smaller gap up here to fill. Yeah, I'm more than happy with that. And if I'm honest with you, I'm not even going to move it over because we don't need too much to bend around, and that there is more than enough. So before I attach this side properly, I'm just going around and making sure it's nice and flush, so when we bend this over, it's going to go nicely. So I've just lightly attached it to this side, and I'm going to leave, I think, about 30 centimeters and then cut it, and that way it's going to be a bit easier to get the rest finished. So that's that section all cut, and now it's going to be a lot easier to bend it around and to attach it. And I'm going to do a cut up here somewhere to help fold it over. And then what we do is we need to attach this to that, and then we'll cut around it. So on this side I have started to bend it around. I'm just trying to get it so it's nice and smooth and there's no major waves or anything. Don't have to be perfect, but I want it to look good. So what I've done is I've bent it around and I've put some cable ties here on the outside, and then I've also put one here that I've used to pull it tighter, to pull it across. It's got to do some along the bottom, and I may put a few on the door. So just down here I have made a little cut just to allow us to bend that and make sure it's nice and flush up against there. So that is this section here, all cable tied right down to the bottom, and I've also cut off the excess little bits like this, because if not, later on you're going to walk past and it's going to cut you open. Did it on that one, I made that mistake of leaving the longer bits, so cut them off. 100% recommend doing that. But yeah, we've cable tied it lots along there, and next we're going to need to cut up here. I'm going to cut a straight line right at the end, then I'm going to push this bit down and bend that bit over and hopefully create a nice finish. So before we get this bit up here done, I'm going to secure this to the wood frame. Been sent some U-nails to do this with, and we're just going to get a hammer them in. Eventually I'm going to put a bit of wood along the outside just to stop catching any of the metal on anything, because on the other chicken run, same sort of thing when I was saying about those bits there, I kept catching it walking into the chicken run and I ripped my coat. So yeah, we're going to make sure we're going to get like a nice little bit of beading or something to go around the edges. So these are quite easy to do. Just like that, and we're going to do that all the way down. So that's this side all hammered in. Got to do this bit now and go around the rest of it, and then after we will cut the door open. So I noticed as I was hammering the door actually started to move over and it's created a gap. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this, and then I can move the door over a little bit more, because at the moment I've hammered that in so I can't move it. So let's get this cut open. So that's better. Just closed the gap, pulled it with a cable tie. So I think it's best to cable tie it shut first. But you can see the difference now that I've done that, the overlap. So it moved quite a bit, but at least now there's no gap here, because we didn't want that. So that is this all nailed in. All we have to do now is to cut it so we can open it. I've already done all this side, and that's the last of that cut. Still needs to be cleaned up a little, but let's check it, see if it opens. Yes, Beautiful. Now we just need to finish it off this corner. We wanted to get a door done so it's easier to get in and out, so I have to keep walking up and down that way. Yeah, it's not going to take much to finish off this section. Just got to pull it tight and cable tie it back. So I've cut this bit to bend over. I did that in a straight line, just in a little bit from the edge of the run. And this bit bends down like that, and then this bit pushes down like that. And look at that. Look how good of a finish. Beautiful. I should have got some cable ties before I'd done that. I genuinely forgot how time consuming it is doing these cable ties. It's worth it, but yeah, I may have forgot. Doing that one took a while, and doing this one taking a while as well. So this side is completely done now. Yeah, not down the end, we still got to do the end piece, but all along here is finished. And we just have to finish off this side now. I've already cable tied it. You did not need to see me doing that, it took me a while. And I have just cut this bit. You may need to make like a little cut here so it can bend properly, so I'm just going to cut that bit. So I'm just using my hands to bend this over before I cable tie it. But it's gone across really easy. I'm just going to put a cable tie in over there. That there, we'll just keep it in place while we bend this bit down. And look at that. Nice neat finish, and hopefully you're not going to get it caught on anything or rip anything. And that is that corner all finished. It was brilliant. The only thing left to do on the front is that section, but I don't think I'm going to do that today. I'm going to come in here and finish off cutting all of these parts of the cable ties off, just like I have done here. Makes it a lot neater. But I'm really happy with how much we've got done today. We just finish off that little bit, then we'll come down this end and get this end finished. And I don't think this end's going to take us long. That one there was more awkward because of the door, but this here should be a simple pull it up, bend it over. Yeah, hopefully if the weather's nice tomorrow we can get it finished. So far I am really happy with the build, and I can't wait to see how it turns out. So it's now the next day. It's gone to day 4 of the build, and we're going to get the back done. We're going to do exactly the same as what we did to the front, except the door. So it's hopefully going to go on a lot quicker, because the most faffing about with that one was the door, cutting it, and yeah, we haven't got to do all that for this side. So hopefully we can get it up and get it done quickly. So the majority of the mesh is now on the back. Still got to secure it properly to the sides and cut this bit, bend it over, secure the bottom. But we started to do this section, but there's no point me showing you all this again because it's just the same as what we did at that end. I'm really happy with how it's looking. Very, very sore hands, blisters as well. What? Not nice, but not much longer. Just got to finish off doing this bit, then we got the point to do at each end, and then just the wire mesh around. I'm not going to do the wire mesh today. We're just going to get this idea done, and there we go. That is the mesh all added to the back. Lots of cable ties. We still need to go around and cut off the excess bits. I'm going to do a bit up here, but not today. But I am very happy with how that is. Lots of these bits to cut off, but my hands are very sore at the moment. So there's enough building for one day. Give my hands a rest, and hopefully we'll catch up tomorrow if the weather's dry. So we'll see each other then. So it's the next day, and we're going to get the trench done. The trench is going to be buried 30 centimetres down and 30 centimetres across, and then we're going to backfill it with rubble and all the glass and stuff that is on the plot. I like to do at least 30 centimetres, but if you can't do 30 centimetres, do as much as you can. Like over here, we have a wall, and nothing's getting through that wall, so we can't go down as much there, and there's places around as well, but if you give it at least 20 but aim for 30, that's what I like to do. So we do still have some of the mesh left from doing the outer run, but I want to keep this bit here to connect the run up to that fence. So we have some wire mesh already, and we're going to use this. It's exactly the same stuff, it's 1/2 inch, and yeah, it's just going to be a lot easier. We're going to cut it to around 70 centimeters, so that gives 30 centimeters down, 30 centimeters across, and about 10 centimeters so we can connect it up to the frame. So we have the mesh cut to size for the first bit of the trench, and I'm not going to tell you a specific way how to push this down because I'm trying to work out myself. We're going to put the bottom of the mesh as close to this part of the wall as we can, and then we're going to push down on this part, and then just push it down like this, and then we'll do that all the way across. So now we have the mesh put in, we need to attach it to the frame, and we're just going to go along and cable tie it just like we did on this joint here. So I'm just cutting the piece of wire mesh out what was covering the door, just so we can open it and get in there and cable tie. So that's the front bit cable tied, and the door can open perfectly fine now. We're not going to backfill it until the rest is done, so yeah, I'm going to do exactly the same as what I did on the rest of them, and we'll catch up after. Just clearing out the last little bit of mud that fell back in from up here before we put in the wire mesh. The front and the side is only the ones we're going to go down 30 centimeters. The other side's got too many rocks and walls built there, but it's not a problem because nothing's getting through those rocks or walls, so it's going to go down as deep as we can. So that is this side done. Now we need to move on to do the other side. So that is both of the sides done. Now we're on to cutting the last bit for the end section. I'm not going to show you the boring, time consuming part, cutting these. I would recommend getting some with springs on because these don't have springs. So you got to keep pulling it out again. That blisters I got, or angle grinder would be good. We've got one, but I kept forgetting to charge the battery. So yeah, we're using these snips. Does the job, but it just takes a bit longer. So that's the last piece for the back cut. So let's take this over and put it in place. One thing I will say, you do not have to do all this additional fox proofing. With digging the trench and burying the wire mesh, this is what I do to make it fox proof. The instructions don't say it, but it's 100% worth it in my opinion. Just do that extra bit of work to stop the foxes and the rats getting in. 3 years we've had our main run built, nothing, no problems whatsoever. This back section we have a old wall running under it. I'm not taking that out, and no way anything's getting through it, but we're just going to put the mesh over it and bend it in place. We're still going to do the job. So that's this end all patched up on the corners. The trench is done. Started to put some of the bigger rocks in, but we've got lots to collect in there to put in. We just got to go and finish the corner up here, but it's coming together beautifully, and it won't be long now until we're finished. So to patch the corners up to join them together, I'm just putting a piece of mesh in like that, and then cable tying them together. And that is the trench done. The wire mesh is complete. Now all we have to do is fill it up with the rubber, broken glass, and any other things we have laying around that the foxes and rats are not going to be able to dig through. But you don't have to do all this extra stuff that I have. You could have just built the basic chicken run and not done the trench, but I recommend doing a trench. It's 100% worth it. Yeah, it can take up a little bit of time, but it's time building and not time cleaning up dead chickens. We'll have a little corner to do up there, and same at the other end, but we're not putting the chickens in tonight, so I'm not going to do that tonight. The one thing I do want to do before we finish up is get these rocks all put in there and try to start filling this up. We've also got a big pile under there that I piled up about a year ago, so we've got more if we need it. But I recommend rubble, bricks, anything, broken glass, anything you can get your hands on. All this stuff is already on this plot. So it used to be a house here. So as you can see, broken glass, bricks, more broken glass, So it's here anyway, and I'm making the most of it, and it's definitely worth doing it. Oh, more broken glass. I'm laying all the bigger ones down first and on the corners, and then we'll add smaller ones on top. So there's been lots of rocks put in here and here. We've still got lots to put on that side, but I don't think we're going to get it finished by today. The sun is starting to set, but hopefully by tomorrow we should be able to finish this build and get this video out and show you how to build a fox and rat proof chicken run and what I do to make it fox and rat proof. I'm hoping this just gives you a good idea. I can't wait. Not going to be long now, and yeah, this is going to be usable, and I'm going to be able to leave the chickens here and not have to worry about them getting eaten. But then eventually we will put a permanent roof on it. That's not going to be till next year, but we've got some temporary roofing that comes with it to go on it, and that would do the job perfectly fine. So I'm going to leave this here for today. I may get a bit more done, but I'll update you all tomorrow, so we'll see you then. Hi everyone, it's next day. We're getting the trench finished. So I've added a lot more since the last little update, and now I'm going around using the littler rocks to fill all the gaps and just make sure that nothing can dig in. So that is a lot of rubble, broken glass, pottery, all sorts, all put in to the trench, and it's very full. Yeah, it's took quite a lot, but it's going to be worth it, and nothing is digging through that. And when people saying like about broken glass and that sort of stuff, you can't actually see the broken glass. There's a few bits, but it's going to be buried under the rocks. It's more just in case something does get through, it's the last resort to stop them, but it's already here. There's loads of it in the ground. So now we need to get all of this topsoil moved back over, and this has a lot of stones and rocks in as well, so that's going to give it the extra protection. We do still have a small section up here to put wire on, and inside where we was digging, a bit of stuff fell down, so we need to bring in some soil. Just go around the edges, just do that with my foot. There we go, that filled that perfectly. So we've pulled over the soil from this section and along the back as well. We just got to pull all this back on it. I might get the hose pipe out and give it a water, at least that way the soil will sink down in between the rocks. I'm not doing anything special, just pulling it all over. And that's this side done. Now to pull that over onto there. So that is now the front done, and we still got this side, and then that's all the trench done. I'm really happy with how it's looking. All the compost is dragged back over. We need to let it compress more, and so I'm going to get the hose pipe out probably tomorrow. Just go around it, at least that way all the soil that is on the top will go down in between all the rubble and that we've put in there, because there's quite a few gaps. So yeah, and once that goes down we can completely level this whole section. I'm going to go around these joins eventually with some of the steel wire I have, just to extra strengthen them. They don't need it, these cable ties are going to do the job perfectly fine. I'm just going to show you all the extra bits I do just to make it extra fox proof. But you don't have to, you can just do this. We've done this with everything that is applied. I had leftover mesh. There's 2 rows of it here. We could have used that in the trench, but I decided to use my own stuff in the trench because I want to use this wire mesh as a fence in between this post and there. I can build a wooden frame, then attach this to it. It's going to make it so much easier compared to using the rows. And it worked out better anyway. But you can use that for the trench, there's plenty there. I've also filled in the gaps around, just brought in some extra soil from out there because there's plenty of it left. And yeah, the next thing to do is just push all the wood chips. But I think I'm probably going to do that tomorrow because yeah, it's getting on again. Another day of building. It's got these gaps here to do. We've got that one, and there's a little one at that end as well. And yeah, and then it's just go around with the steel wire. We've got some, I ordered it from Amazon, and when I get it out tomorrow, I will show you all properly and to show you what I'm going to do. Oh, it's so good. It looks amazing. I'm really happy with how it's turned out, and I'm hoping this just gives you an idea of how to build a fox-proof run and rat-proof, because all I ever see is post after post after post of people's chickens getting killed, and it's so sad. And I'm hoping this just shows you that you spend a little bit of money and it's worth it, because you're not having to buy chickens over and over again. Spend a bit of money at first, invest in a proper chicken run. Off the top of my head, I cannot remember how much this costs. I'll put it on screen, but it's definitely worth it. And you can get 10% off if you use my code TYG10. But we'll have a catch up tomorrow when we hopefully get this chicken run finished. So I'll see you then. So it's the next day, and now we need to get all the final touches done to the chicken run. We have the ends to do. We have the little corners above the door and the other end. We've dug a trench, we've buried all the glass and rubble, what was already on this plot. I say all the glass. Still glass everywhere. That's the thing with this, it used to be a house here, so the whole place is littered with it. It's literally everywhere. And I'm just walking again and I just see it. Oh, more glass. Did a post about it on Facebook, people moaning at me. I even got threats off some people saying I hope I get hurt for putting glass down when there's already glass in. Some people are just so, I don't know. But I've put, when I do the post, I even write the glass is there. I even over and over again write it in the post, in the comments. But people just can't read. But anyway, I don't care about them. We know what's going on. And to be honest, I care more about my chickens than any fox or any rat. To me, they're pests. Nothing that anyone's going to say is going to change it. I'm a chicken keeper. I've saw firsthand what is done to people's chickens over and over again. 150 chickens at least has probably been killed on this site since I've been here. But none of them have been mine, because I've done this right there. I want to come in, sort the wood chips, but first need to cut all the cable ties. So that's going to be my first proper job of the day. So that is all the cable ties cut, and it looks so much better. At least now they're not going to hit me in the head when I walk past them. We need to do these triangles. We need that one and the one at this end. And I'm just going to cut a piece out and put it on. I'm not going to do anything special, but I will quickly show you how I'm doing it. Then after we've done that bit, I want to go over with a hose pipe and spray all the soil on top of the trench. And that way the soil can go down in between all the rubble and stuff that we put in there. And then we can pull over the rest of it and completely level it and finish this section off. So in the future, we're going to be adding this to the chicken run. How it is now is perfectly fine. This is more for when the cable ties get older. So I like to sew the wire together pretty much. Keep threading it in and out, and then you have these clips at the top. You pull it tight, just like we have done on this run. See, it just goes along the joint, then it goes to there, and then we've put on these little clips and pulled it really tight, and then you squeeze it down and it keeps it in place. But that there just gives it the extra strength, and nothing's gonna get in any of the little gaps. But we're not doing that today because it's not too important right now. It's more for when the cable ties start getting old, they start getting brittle. But eventually we will add this, but this will be part of the add-on videos where I keep upgrading it and eventually get it to be this chicken run. But that is going to be over time. It's not going to be something that's done straight away. But this is very secure. Nothing's getting in it, so I'm not too worried right now. So cut a piece out to go up here. What I'm going to do is line it up, and then I'm going to get one of the U-nails and hammer a nail in here, and then we'll bend that over once it's secure in place. But first, I am going to get a cable tie just to hold that there. So now that's held in place with the cable tie, I'm going to hammer some of these nails into it. So now that is nicely secured to that wood, it is not going anywhere. We just need to bend these edges over. I'm going to cut a cut up here to fold it over a lot easier. So I've made a cut And I've cut off the excess bit here and on that one, so there's nothing sticking up and it's not going to rip through the roofing plastic tarpaulin and stuff we end up putting on it after that comes with the run. We're just going to bend that over and cable tie it, and that bit is all complete, nice and secure, and nothing is getting in that. Now we just need to do the same to the other end, and there we go. That is that end all done, and that is all the wire mesh on. Oh, I'm so glad it's finished. My hands are sore, got blisters coming up everywhere that keep popping. So I'm just going around the outside spraying on top of where we had the trench. This way it will encourage soil down in between the rocks and just speed it along, because it would do this naturally in the rain, but I'd rather get it done now. And that's that job all done. So this here is the roof cover, and if I read rightly, this one will cover the whole run, but they are very good, very thick, heavy duty quality. We used to have one on that roof for over a year. The only problem was the heavy duty mesh, where we joined it along the middle, it ripped it. But this time there's no joins in that area, so hopefully it shouldn't do it. But the last one, we didn't even get it from this company, so this here actually looks thicker, definitely looks better. So the next part is to get the cover on. I think we're going to have to cable tie this on, because I don't think they will fit through the 1/2 inch welded mesh hose, but we'll have a look. And this is the last cable tie on the roof cover. Oh, it's absolutely beautiful. Got to cut off the excess of the cable tie, but so I'm really happy with how easy it was to get this roof on, because the things that come with it wouldn't fit through these holes. I've cable tied it, and I prefer to cable tie it anyway, but nice and tight, and it is looking absolutely brilliant. I'm really happy with how strong it is, and the girls are going to have some nice shade and they're not going to cook in the sun. So I think tomorrow we will go over the chicken run, have a little talk about the build, talk about everything that's gone on, my tips, advice on building it, and hopefully by then Barbara and Duchess will be all moved in there. But let's make it quick and easy for you, so let's do it in a click. Hi everybody, so it's been 10 days since we finished doing the chicken run. Did plan to do a video just after, but it's been so busy. I wanted to get the run finished and make it look really nice before I let the chickens back out to merge, but look how beautiful the chicken run is looking. It's 100% finished now. I'm going to modify it eventually to look like this with a roof like this one. But for this year, this is what it's staying like, and this will show you what you can build with a kit they provide from Garden Life. We have the 1/2 inch welded mesh on this chicken run to make it predator proof. And since the last video, we started to build the fencing that is going to go at the perimeter. One there, and then we're building one down here as well to go just here. I was gifted these side panelings. They were side panelings on a Brassica cage. They had scaffolding netting on it, the same sort of stuff we use for the roof, and there's getting rid of them. So I thought actually they may fit from here over to there, and it is dead on the perfect fit. It's like I measured it, and at this end it's exactly the same perfect fit look. And I've just attached it there, screwed it in down that end, and yeah, it's very strong. Was absolutely beautiful. And it looks so much better than having the Harris fence there. Well, once this side's done, and it's going to connect from this corner over to there and completely seal it in. So Barbara and Duchess have been in here for 10 days now, and they are absolutely loving it. Oh, she's in a new coop. That's great to see. But so far, I have no complaints whatsoever to make about this. The build was very easy, the instructions were great. One thing I will say, make sure you get yourself a good pair of wire cutters, cable ties. It's always good to have some extra cable ties because I ended up cutting quite a few off and then having to redo them. So yeah, lots of cable ties is recommended, but you do get loads. I think these ladies want to come out. So I'm hoping this video has brought you some inspiration and information how to build a predator proof run. We did this originally 3 years ago and we've had no problems whatsoever, and nothing has been able to get in that one. We've replicated it with this 2x4 meter chicken run with 1/2 inch welded mesh. We've buried it down 30 centimeters and 30 centimeters across, backfilled that with the rubber, the glass, everything else that was here on the plot, and then filled that in with some compost, and then we've just put a layer of the wood chips on what the chickens are going to dig off. But yeah, now I am very happy and I can sleep at night knowing my girls are safe and nothing is getting in there. Many will say, oh, rats and fox can still get in there, but in my opinion they won't. Once they hit that rocks and they figure out that it's not easy to get in, majority of the time they will go away, and they have with mine. One thing I will say, there's not a 100% guarantee that this is a fox proof and rat proof run. If you build it, I'm showing you the steps that I use to create a fox and rat proof run for myself. In my area, this has worked amazing, so hopefully it all works for you and you get some inspiration. And you can also get 10% off these chicken runs with using my code TYG10 at Garden Life Direct. Yeah, I will put the website on the screen for you and in the comments. But how do you like your new home, Duchess? I think she is very happy with it. But very soon I'm going to get started on the outside of the chicken run, get all this sorted. But I will do some videos giving you updates throughout the rest of the year when we do things, and then next year hopefully we're going to put a new roof on this, just like that one, permanent one. The girls love it. I love that roof, especially in winter, because with that one it still gets wet inside. With that one, it's dry, bone dry in there.